welcome to Ask Me About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and season fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And welcome to the show. It's finally time to get started on our yearly traditional end-of-year wrap-up episodes.
Here we go, tying a knot around yet another wonderful K-pop year.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So this is the episode where we talk about B-sides, our favorite B-sides, which are the non-title tracks, the songs that were not the main single. And though some of them may have music videos or may have gotten stages, etc., there is an established title track, and these are not them.
Yes. These are all the other songs that are on the albums, or maybe the singles that were released this year. And I feel like we started this episode because we tended to have more favorite B-sides than we had favorite title tracks. But I had an unprecedented dilemma this year, and I figured I would just talk it out on the air.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here is my challenge.
Right.
I started this year the way I do every year, which is to look at the list of title releases and then pull from there the albums I listened to.
Absolutely.
And then from each album, grab 1, 2 to 3 little B-sides that I liked, and then I throw them all in a playlist and I start cutting them down from there.
Sure.
And my general rule is 1 B-side per artist.
Yeah.
But as I started choosing the ones I knew I definitely wanted on my list, and I got to number 10, I realized I only have 12 artists.
Okay.
So if I choose one from each, I will be 3 short for our 15. And my dilemma is that I don't know what to do because I didn't I could just pick 2 songs from a couple that it would be pretty easy. I had more than one for almost everybody.
Yeah.
But a lot of the ones that I had multiples of, we've talked about those albums a lot because we were very lucky this year in that so many of our favorites put out music.
Absolutely.
So I'm well, I've already talked about, it's not like I've never talked about these songs before.
Sure.
So I don't feel that sometimes I feel but I must mention
need to.
this song.
Yes.
It needs its moment. I don't have any of those. And I didn't want to be inauthentic because these are the only albums I listened to through the year. So even if there were other titles from other artists that I enjoyed, I didn't go and listen to the whole album. So I can't just listen to it once and grab one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't know what to do.
I mean,
I'm kind of tempted to just be I'm sorry, y'all, but I only have 12 this year.
if you only have 12 this year, you only have 12 this year.
Okay, great. I only have 12 this year.
When we started the pod, B-sides was not an episode. It was a single
a
category
That's
in
true.
our awards. And then
That's
the next
true.
year,
That's
it was
true.
that can't be. B-sides need a whole episode. And they have increased in how many we pick over the years.
It's true.
I did manage 15, and I do have the same artist on here twice, but granted,
Only
they are
one.
from 2 separate albums that were released pretty far apart from each other, so it felt like an okay choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of these felt like kind of not stretches, because they are all songs that I love. But making 15, I did have to think about it harder, and I didn't have to cut any songs.
Yes, and usually during B-sides there's at least 2 devastating, and I usually have a runner up or something,
right? To be
these could have put on, I would have if we did 20 then maybe they would fit on here or whatever. So this was the first year that I was ooh, I don't have enough, and I do think I just credit that to the as we said last week, the general like blurry nature of this year, that it just went by really fast. And I think because so many of our favorites had releases this year, I didn't feel the need to go outside of my comfort zone. So everybody on this list is, I would think, incredibly predictable. Like,
Yes.
if you're, you know,
This is going to be a biased year.
I feel like, I mean, I certainly hope nobody comes to these B-side episodes like, I don't know, hoping for like surprises, because I like what I like, and I stick to it.
No,
so I don't have anybody like new and interesting.
I think that is like great to bring up, because I kind of wanted to like just preface that generally, because these episodes tend to be episodes that get listened to like so much more than our regular episodes, because I think people are just skimming and checking in and being like, what's this
what did
podcast?
they like this year?
I'll see what they like. So if you are that person, I need you to know right now that we are like second gen hag stands. We like the things that we like, and we are pretty out of touch with things that are new. So if you're expecting these lists in this episode or the next two episodes to look like other people's, like, you know, K-pop journalists' best K-pop songs of the year, it's probably not going to match up.
Yeah. Also, if you have anything against SM, just leave now. Yeah. This show is not for you, friend. Keep on moving.
That's very true. Very true.
My list is essentially just the SM lineup from this year. If it wasn't a B-side only, like NCT, that Perfume threesome would have been on here too. Oh my God. Anyway, these are just my faves.
Yeah, these are just our faves. And
no one on here, to me, you have some that are like, oh, these are new. I have none.
That's okay. I mean, I did get some new stuff. I did listen to some new things this year, but I feel like, I don't know why. It must have just been because so many of our faves came back and I was able to concentrate on that.
Yeah.
But like last year, I feel like I was really good at like checking in on new releases, and we had that like massive girl group playlist, and I was like listening to artists I don't normally listen to, and so then I had some fun surprises at the end of the year. But this is not that year.
No, this is not that year. I didn't even listen to the Stray Kids album. I didn't even listen to the 17 album. 17 is not on my list, y'all.
Yeah.
That's what kind of year this was.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, unrelated though, I was going to send you a screenshot of this, and it just popped into my head because I said 17. I was watching Golden Girls last night, and in season 2, there is an episode called Dorothy's Best Pupil, and it stars a like 14-year-old Mario Lopez as a boy who gets deported. Spoiler alert.
Oh no.
But he was so baby. He was so small. And he had a little mullet. And he weirdly reminded me in his physicality so much of Ming Hao. Because he was just like a little string bean, and he had kind of like the round nose and the like dimpled cheeks. And I was like, why does he remind me of a baby the 8?
Wow. That's so fun.
It was really fun. Anyway, I do miss you, 17. I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah.
But it won't be today.
All right, so let's get into this. We put our lists in chronological order just because that seemed like a way to go about it. Mm-hmm. So I guess since I do have a full 15, I'll go
you
first.
You go first.
So my first release on my B-side list of 2023 is from January, and it is Monsta X's It's All Right.
It's all right, I'm gonna make it back to you. Whoa, no, why getting him
So this was on Monsta X's album Reason that came out in January, and it was like our only Monsta X release this year, which also felt kind of weird.
Yeah.
But before I get into Monsta X feelings, I gotta say what I like about this song. I love the way that it starts with Jungkook's super deep voice going, "When I go back, can I see you forever?" Like, that's always fun. And this song is really, I love, like, it's a pretty like low key, like general mid tempo song, but I like all of the piano in it. There's like a lot of pretty jazzy flourishes. And then there's also this just like bum bum, like little like 2-note, like kind of percussive piano going through it.
Yeah.
And I love the second verse that Honey sings. And it just felt like an appropriate song in this year where the vast majority of our monsters went to the military, for them to be singing "It's all right, I'm gonna make it back to you." Like,
yes, like they knew they were
They
all
knew.
going to be leaving us so soon.
but yeah, I didn't bring that up in our catch up episode last week, but like most of the monsters are like all away now. And I gotta say, I'm like kind of cranky at one Im Chung-kyun right now because Honey said
Could just go.
Honey said when he left that they all needed to go so that they'd be back for their 10th
Yeah.
anniversary. And so I was like, great, get gone. But then I saw people on TikTok saying that IM is waiting for everyone else to get back and he'll go after the 10th anniversary. And that I refuse. I don't like that because that's what Shiny did. And it sucked.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
to do like a big comeback and then someone still has to go to the military, like, boo.
Yeah, that is, it just like ruins the flow of things. But at least, unlike Shiny, I think we might be more likely to get
Comebacks.
IM-less
Yeah.
comebacks because like they continued even without Chonu, and then like they did a little subunit and like whatever. At a certain point, there were like 4 monsters or something
Yeah.
like still going out and about. So I feel like we might have the potential for them to not go on a general hiatus the way
True.
that Shiny did when Timmy was gone. So we'll see what happens.
But I also think
get
that
gone, dude. Get
he
out
just
of here.
needs to go. And you know what? Shonu deserves some peace. Like, if they're all gone,
There should be. Shonu deserves at least a year without anyone he has to take care of but himself. I think he and the manager can live by themselves in their apartment and just like, relax for a second.
I mean, he spent his whole military career taking care of children, and then he
That's
came back to take care of
true,
more
to take care
children.
of more children. Yeah, he never gets a break, my Shonu. Oh, my Shonu.
All right, what's your first B-side this year?
Mine is also from the Monsta X album because I put mine in chronological order, and that was one of the only things I listened to this year. And I choose Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger, Lone Ranger, Lone Ranger, Lone Ranger, Lone Ranger, Lone Ranger. Darling, let me take you, darling, let me take you, darling, let me take you home.
Okay, so for the clip, I just chose like the very, very end of it,
Yeah.
but you can get the feel of the whole of the whole song in it. It has like a very much like Western cowboy theme. It literally ends like after Ki Hyun's riff, there's like horse neighing and like plopping away or whatever. It's very silly. And when I first listened to the album and this song came on, I was like, it actually made me laugh out loud because I thought it was so silly. But it takes like 10 seconds of the song before it hooks you and you're like, yeah, actually this is great. The like growly vocals are so good, and the little like squeak of the like, because it's like growly when they do like the lone, but then they do like Ranger and they like kind of squeak the end of it.
Yeah.
Which is so fun. And then the very first time I listened to it, I like had my headphones in, and it ends with like Ki Hyun's voice just all alone, like soaring through this gorgeous riff. And as I was listening to it, I just went, "Oh, you show off." And I just loved it. Like every single time I listened to it, I would just like pause everything to hear that last little bit. And I just think this song is super fun. Like I thought that the whole EP was a good time, and this one just makes me happy.
Great.
As a Texas gal, I enjoy it.
Love it. Love it. I love the one I am line of like, hey, darling, let me take you home. I don't
Yes.
waste my time now.
I love it. I love it.
All right. My next choice is from The Boys. This came out in February, and this song is called Savior.
지는 너와 내 맘에 나감해 날 안아줘 save me my savior 견디는 수없다 아름다운 falling down.
So this song was on The Boys' 8th mini album titled Awake. And like I said, it came out in February. And like the song itself starts like so watery and slow jammy. But then like later on in the song, it like gets kind of clubby. Like the beat changes multiple times, which I think is really interesting. And like vocals on point, beautiful harmonies. It's so much like a body roll and rip your shirt in the rain kind of song.
The Boys have really been going for that vibe lately.
Yeah. And it just has a lot of like interesting noises in it. Like it's just produced really crazy. There's just so many like layers to the song. And the thing I love the most about it is that it's over 4 minutes long,
Oh, hell yeah.
which is
Wow.
like
a
unheard
rare
of
treat.
in K-pop
A
these
rare
days.
treat. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I loved this whole mini, but this is a far and away favorite.
Nice. I like it. I like it. I meant to listen to both of the Boys' albums this year because I liked both title tracks, but I didn't.
They had 3 albums this year.
Oh, all right. Excuse me. Wait. Lip gloss. Oh, Roar.
Roar, Lip
Roar,
Gloss,
Lip
and
Gloss,
Watch
and
It.
Watch It. I forgot about Roar.
This was from Roar.
Yeah. I was just thinking Lip Gloss and Watch It. Anyway, I got a lot of Boys to catch up on. All right. My next choice was a challenge, but I choose Onu No Parachute.
필요해. I got no parachute and I'm falling 내 두려움을 끝 묘한 떨림 가까이 낯선 느낌 온몸으로 느껴 baby.
So this was off of his album Circle, which we did definitely talk about when it came out because I thought it was a masterpiece. I thought everything about it in particular, like the title track itself was really great, but then like the composition of the album itself, I thought like really went well together. Every single song like moved into the next one. And there's a section in the middle of it where it goes from like anywhere or paradise to expectations to no parachute to like walk with me to there's like 4 or 5 songs in a row that are just like perfect sequentially. So it was really, I had almost all of them on my list initially, and I had a really hard time choosing between this one and Expectations, because I love the warmth of Onu's voice in Expectations. But I ultimately picked this one because I thought it was very unique. It has like kind of a different sort of like the instruments in the back are kind of like bubbly, and it has this like to me it's super danceable. Like I think it's really groovy, but it's also like very melancholy, or it like I haven't looked up the lyrics, but it has a feeling of like, you know, jumping out without a parachute, which is risky. It might be a good thing, like a leap of faith, but it might also be about like, you know, free falling in that sort of way. So I just think that like the vibe of the song is really interesting with that kind of like cool but sad feeling, and I love it. This was a favorite, but hard to choose off of this album because I had many.
I fully agree because my next choice is also off of this Onu Circle album.
Nice.
And it felt really hard to choose, but my soul told me that this was my obvious favorite. So my choice is Anywhere.
Alright, alright. 언제든 널 향해 내가 있어 이렇게 아주 자연스럽게 네 일상이 되고 싶어.
This song was like an immediate favorite for me when the album came out. I love how it starts with this very echoey like surf guitar.
Yeah.
And it has a very simple beat, but like the most booty shaking bass line. Like it just like goes off, and like these angel vocals of like the softest, loveliest falsetto, like juxtaposed with the like booty shaking, and like it makes me really emotional in like a way I can't describe. It's just so pleasant. I
honestly felt that way. I thought I think that kind of describes the album as a whole.
Yeah.
Like it has these really sweet, warm, soft, like almost cottony vocals, and then but every single song is very complex. Like it's not just one mood or feeling in each song. Like there's a lot of like contradictory elements where like the bass line is like going off, but then the vocals are like so gentle, or like the melody is like very happy and bright, but the like something about the tone of it feels kind of heartbreaking. Like I don't know, it just had a lot of complexity to the album, and I thought it was fantastic.
It was so good.
That makes it my turn.
It sure does.
Okay, great. So my next pick is Twice, Blame It On Me.
Baby, don't blame it on me, yeah.
So this was off of their Ready to Be album, which the title track was Set Me Free. And they also promoted Moonlight Sunrise off of it as well. And I think it was just an EP. It had maybe like 5 or 6 tracks
It
on
said
it.
12th mini on the cover art
Perfect.
just then.
There we go. So it's their 12th mini album. And I really liked this song immediately, kind of for the same reason I liked Lone Ranger, that it has like a real country rock guitar to it. And the song itself is really fun because the whole thing is like there's a part where it's like, it's not my fault that you fell for me. And like, so he's like, don't blame it on me that you have a crush on me. It's not my fault. Like deal with it. And I think that that's super funny. And I just think it's like, it's a standout from the rest of the album in that it sounds really different from what Twice usually sounds like. And so for that, I had to put it on my list because I thought it was fun. And I love a little bit of country leak. I love a cowboy western vibe.
I was going to say,
yeah.
I hadn't heard that one yet, but it had that same feeling as Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I know. When I realized, I was like looking at my whole like paper list, and I was like, yeah, it's got to be these two. We're going for country this year. We're going for it. It's all about the Cowboys.
I love it.
No, it's really just those two, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. It's a pattern. It's fine.
I like what I like. I'm from Texas.
All right. My next pick came out in April, and that is Kepler's Back to the City. So this was on Kepler's 4th mini called Love Struck, and we saw them perform it at KCON, and I started crying while it was happening because this song makes me so fucking emotional. I don't even know why. Like there's something about the chord changes in the chorus and these like soaring happy girl vocals that just like, I don't know, it just makes me want to cry, like not because I'm sad, but just in a like
Out of like girl joy.
Yeah, I think so. And it just like, it sounds so retro. Like there's something about the beat. Like I made my husband listen to this song because I was like, will you tell me why I associate this song with like the 80s? And he was like, not sure why I felt that way. He was like, there is something kind of like aha about it, or like, I don't know, like Madonna, Tiffany, like I don't know, like some kind
that
of
little
girly
like,
pop.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
And yeah, I love this song so much. And I was trying to like write down reasons, and it's indescribable to me. And we don't rank these, but if I were to, this is my number one far and away. Like the way that I feel about this song is so strong.
Wow. I love it. You love Kepler so much.
I do. I'm sad. They're done. They're going to be done next year. It's almost over.
Well, they were such a gift while they've been
Yeah.
here, and it'll be exciting to see what all those ladies go on to do next.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, great little temporary group. Okay, my next one is also from some ladies, but not a temporary group. This is aespa's Thirsty.
갈수록 thirsty 분명 가득한 듯 thirsty Yeah, I got you boy sipping all night sipping all night
So this was off of their third mini album called My World, and they promoted it as a B-side when they did Spicy on music shows, and I immediately loved it. It's very different from a lot of other aespa songs, and I haven't listened to, actually no, that's not true. I did listen to that first album they put out, but I haven't listened to a lot of aespa B-sides, and I really only saw this one because I saw the stage for it on a music show. But I loved it instantly. It has kind of like, I think I talked about it when I first saw it already in like an episode past, but it has very like old school R&B, like
Yeah.
smooth jam vibes, and it's kind of like a ladies slow jam of like getting this guy so thirsty for you, and I think it's great. Like I think that the vocals in it are so lovely, and yeah, I enjoy this song so much. I really never got tired of it. So didn't listen to a lot of aespa, but I liked their releases this year, and Thirsty was
Fantastic. Love it. All right, next up on my list is a release from May, and that is Boy Next Door with Serenade.
아니 내 심장까지 쪼여오는데 I love you baby 외쳐대느라 내 진심을 동네방네 달아
Okay, so this is from Boy Next Door's debut EP, which was called Who, but with an exclamation point, not a question mark. And I am gonna have to try really hard to like rein myself in right now and only talk about this song
okay.
and save other Boy Next
You
Door
have time
things.
to talk about Boy Next Door. You have a whole category for them.
Yes, I surely do. So right now we're just gonna talk about Serenade, which I love. Musically, I love. There's like a very like kind of hollowy, echoey bass drum that's like kicking through the whole thing. That's really nice, but it also has like a lot of like twinkles and horns and strings and all these like romantic instruments, because this song has like the cutest lyrics in the entire world, and it's like about like declaring your love for this girl that you have a crush on, and that they're like screaming outside her window at night and the neighbors are like, please shut the fuck up. And I just love the passion with which they sing I love you baby.
Yeah.
Like it's so charming.
And the little like side to side leg choreo is so cute when they do it. Like they kind of look like there's so many like big elbow and knee angles that they look like little puppets.
Yes, I have so much to say about their funny choreo. Holding it in, not right now. But this song is just so great. Their concept is incredible. I'll talk about it more. But one more thing about Serenade is that I think that it has the greatest final stanza of like any teen boy love confession song ever, because they say, I don't have a car and I don't have a driver's license. But I promise you one thing. And then one of the members sings in the sweetest voice, I'll get along with your dad for you.
That's amazing. That's so funny. It's like, I can't drive you anywhere, baby, but I'll get along with your dad. That's great. I love it. I love it. All right. Next up on my list was only an easy choice because we did multiple episodes about this entire comeback. But so mine is Shiny Insomnia. So this was a perfect album. It was from Shiny's 8th album, Hard, which we did not only an entire episode about, we also did a listening party on Patreon where we just sat down and gushed about every single track as it played in our headphones. So I could have picked literally anything off of this album and I would have felt good about it. Ultimately, I went for Insomnia because, I think we talked about this in the album episode, but there's something so quintessentially Shiny about every track on this album.
Absolutely.
And I love this one because right at the beginning there's like a perfect little Minky rap where Key goes, give me that L, give me that O, give me that V-I-N-G. And I think it's so great. He's like, give me that view that I need. And it's so perfect. Like it's so Shiny. And then that like beautiful like feelings, like the little riffs in it later, like I just think it's such a gorgeous song and like perfectly like I listen to that song and I just like feel like I'm staying up late, you know, like Absolutely. It has a real 3 a.m. vibe, but in like a fun, sexy way. Like I love it. I just such a good song. My Shiny couldn't have gone wrong with anything, and I chose that one. Mostly for the Minky rap at the beginning, because it just that kind of thing like tickles my soul, and I just like love. It's one of my favorite things about Shiny, and it like. Off of the Story of Light album, like the song Retro had like a couple of those lines in it, and I just think it's so fun. It's like such a throwback, and yeah, I love it. So Insomnia is my choice off of Hard. What was your choice?
Well, I have to wait to do my hard choice because I have
one in between.
I have one track that came out a few weeks before, so don't think I'm skipping Shiny. We'll get to
We
it.
would never. Don't be ridiculous.
But first, I will call out "What I Want" by Fromis_9.
욕심 완벽하게 채워질 때까지 포기는 안 해. 아직 낯선 떨림 그 속에 너의 거리 더 알고 싶어지는 걸.
So this song was on Fromis_9's, if you can believe it, first album.
Oh, they've only done EPs before.
Yes.
Wow. Well, good for them.
And it's called Unlock My World. And it came out in June. And I loved this entire album. I know I talked about it on the show. I think like as a whole, it is a very good album. And a lot of songs, including this one, to me, are very 2015 Shiny coded. Like it just feels like this whole album feels like odd era Shiny to me in a way that like, I don't know. It just is. It's so great. The beat to this one is like super infectious. And the vocal runs in it are excellent. And I love the way that it like drops out in the kind of like pre-chorus. And then sort of soars into this more like dancey disco beat for the rest of the chorus. And it's also got a lot of weird little like video game noises kind of like buried in the background that keep things interesting. And yeah, it was really hard for me to choose off of this Fromis_9 album because I liked it so much, but I think that this one eked out a little past the others.
Nice. Good choice. Good choice. Do you want to do your Shiny one so then we're like at the same we're caught up?
That makes sense. Okay, so my Shiny B-side pick off of Hard is Sweet Misery. So I talked about this on the Patreon app and on the regular app, and I've talked about it a bunch. But I just love the vibes of this song so much. It has like a really strong vibe. They all did, but I love this one in that there's so much echoing. Like the whole song feels like it takes place in some kind of cavernous nothing.
Yeah.
Like the misery that they are so sweetly in is like existing in this empty void of space, because so many of the lines just like ring out and echo forever. And the instruments are also really echoey, and these like big fake like 80s Peter Gabriel drums that are also really echoey. And so many great vocal runs, like just incredible vocal power and falsetto out of everybody. And I also just kind of love the millennial whoop of the like out of the outro chorus, like the, whoa! Like I'm always down with a millennial whoop. And I love this song. I loved this album, but had to pick one, and that's my pick.
Great choice. No bad choices off of Shiny Hard. Okay, continuing with SM, my next choice is off of EXO's album, and the track I chose is No Makeup. That is just like such a classic, sexy, croony EXO song. And I think this album was actually kind of, I had a few that I liked off of it, and I almost put Another Day on it purely for the Chanyeol line that happens like 30 seconds in, because the first time that I listened to that album, I had my like really good headphones on and I was like getting ready for bed, and that song came on, and it's like that song is like different little verses where there's like two members of EXO singing it, and like one is singing the high melody and then one of them is singing like 2 octaves lower. And when Chanyeol's little line came on and I like heard him like underneath in my headphones, I literally slid down the wall onto the floor. So for that alone, I was like, maybe it has to go on here. But I ultimately chose No Makeup because I think that that's far and away my favorite song off of the album in general. I just think it's so sexy. It's so gorgeous. The runs are exactly what you want out of EXO. And that part that I chose for the clip where everything drops out and they just have that like one last a cappella chorus, it's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
EXO vocals, untouchable. So this is just like, this is exactly what you want out of an EXO song. It's sexy, it's slutty, it's gorgeous, it croons your heart out, and yeah, love it. Take that makeup off, baby.
Yeah.
I also got a real kick this morning when I was listening to it, being like, oh, I wonder if Chen thinks about his wife while he sings this song. And that just delighted me because I think it's fun that he has a wife.
I do too. Another thing about this song, and I don't know if it was purposeful or not, but to me it feels like a callback, that the part where they go na 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 is really
like
similar
UN
to
Village.
that part in is it in Candy? Like, is it the breakdown of Baekhyun's Candy?
UN Village, but no, I think you are right. Na 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 na. Da-na-na. Yeah, I think that's Candy.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know if it's on purpose, but it feels like it might be. And I just like that.
Yeah, that is fun. I like it when groups call. I mean, not only that is fun because it's like a solo track. So just kind of like, if it is purposeful, like wrapping in the, you know, we are one, etc.
Yes.
Soul connected. I like it.
All right, so my EXO pick was also very hard to choose. I was really torn between two, which I'll get into. But what I did choose ultimately was Hear Me Out.
숨길 생각 말고 Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. 괜찮아 뭐 어때? Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. 망설일 필요 없는 길에.
So, ooh, that bass line. Like, ooh, that bass line. And the guitar in it is also so funky. And like EXO vocals are always deliver.
They're always good.
And I think Yeah, I just love this song and like, slight emotional XOL reasons. Like I love that Kai is in the music video and I just love the vibe of the music video so much because it had been so long since we'd seen EXO together. So getting this pre-release of all of them just like hanging out and making each other laugh and like, arms around each other dancing in a bowling alley, like it just like warmed my heart so much.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, especially since like this came out because I don't think I said, but it's off of their album Exist, which they put out this title track, and Kai is definitely in like the songs on the whole album.
Yes.
Like you can hear his voice, but he was already in the military, so we didn't get a full 8-member promotion, but we got this one little treat of a music video, and it was very nice.
But I was really torn between doing this one and Let Me In.
That was my other choice. Those were my final. It was No Makeup or Let Me In. I really, really do like Let Me In. It's gorgeous song.
Gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. And it also has a music video that also has Kai in it, but it's much more melancholy. They're all alone. They're getting attacked by like meteors. It's like just much more of a bummer. And the song is like a really sad, I don't know if it's sad, but like it's very ballady and
It does
still
feel like a
R&B,
ballad.
but it's
Yeah.
like really low key. And so I was like trying to decide between the moods and I decided to go with Hear Me Out.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, I ultimately went with No Makeup because it was like groovier. But Let Me In is very beautiful. All right, my next choice is from a little Monsta X subunit. We got Shownu and Hyungwon. My choice is called Love Therapy. So this is off of the only release Shownu and Hyungwon have put out, which the album was called, the little mini was called The Unseen, and the title track was called Love Me a Little. It was like the song of KCON. We heard it 1,000 times, and we saw them perform it as well. But this one is, I mean, the whole mini is fun, and it has like a real distinct vibe to it. Like all the songs kind of fit together, but this one is like the crunchiest. It has like the like that kind of like almost distorted like wah, wah, wah in the background. And then I just love the like I love the chorus of the little like la 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 therapy. I think it's so fun, and that little like spoken piece that the clip dropped into is just like sexy and silly in a perfect Monsta X way. And I was just so happy that we got something out of Shownu at all, because like I fully expected him to come. I didn't expect anything, I should say. Because when he came out of the military, like whatever, the members were kind of all a mess. Since,
Immediately
like,
leaving
X.
and
It was
like
just like, oh, hi, bye. Like they were gone. And so I was like, well, who would he do something solo? Like, I don't actually know if he would. Maybe he would want to do that. I truly don't know. So when we got this with Hyungwon, who had been completely wrecking me while Shownu was gone, I was like, well, this feels targeted. I must enjoy it because this is for me. And then they came to KCON and I got to see my baby in person and it was so lovely. So yeah, I chose Love Therapy off of this, although I do want to shout out Slow Dance because that one's also very sexy.
Great. Love it. It was such a good mini. I enjoyed it very much. All right. My next choice is from our newest temporary girl group on the scene, and that is L's Up with Die For You.
Baby, I would die for you. 아무것도 해도 I will cry for you. Every time I see you, I fall just a little bit more.
So L's Up was formed on the program Quantum Puzzle, which I recapped on Patreon if you want to check that out. And this was from their debut EP entitled 7 Up, and it came out in September. And this song is just absolutely perfect disco. It's perfect. It has all of the elements. It is so catchy. It is produced so well. Like, it's literally a flawless song, and I think it should have been the debut over Cheeky because it's so good. And like, I don't have articulate reasons or anything to say other than like, it's so good. And when the album came out, I just kept listening to this one. Like, I just kept going back to this one.
Yeah.
Because it's just so good. It's just so good. I truly don't know what else to say. It's just like great. I love disco K-pop, and like, this is it. And like,
absolutely. That's always
I
a
love it.
favorite. Nice. All right. My next choice is from Key, and this song is called Mirror Mirror.
날 비춰줬어야 해. In the mirror 계속 바라보면 뭔가 달라질까. In the mirror 흐릿하게 보면
All right, this song was off of Key's second mini album, Good and Great. I also had, because he actually had 2 releases this year. He put out the repack to, was that what it was? The repack to
Yes.
Killer at the beginning of the year. And I almost chose Easy off of that one. It was between...
just a slight correction. I believe it was the repack of Gasoline, and it was Killer.
Oh, yes, that's right. The repack of Gasoline was called Killer. Thank you very much. And off of Killer, it was just since it was a repack, it only had 3 tracks on it.
Yeah.
And one of them called Easy, I really, really loved.
I also debated putting it
I
on, too.
debated that one. I ultimately chose Mirror Mirror because it's really beautiful in a sort of melancholy way. Easy is too. They don't sound alike, but they have similar like elements to them in that the things I liked about Easy are like similar to the things I liked.
He's also
about Mirror
singing in
Mirror.
a similar vocal range, and he has a
Yes.
big vocal range, and
Yeah,
both
he
of
does.
those songs like stay in a kind of lowy midpoint kind of.
Yeah, exactly. But I really love the like whistle.
Yeah,
Hook
the whistle is
line
great.
that's in Mirror Mirror. I think it's really beautiful. And there's something about Mirror Mirror that kind of felt familiar to me, not in the sense that I thought it sounded like a song I'd heard before, but it was just one of those songs where, like, have you ever listened to a song and just thought like, I've known this song all my life. Like, there's just I have never heard this song before, but something about it is so familiar to me that it feels as though I have. And that was kind of the sense that I got off of Mirror Mirror. And it's the last song on the album. So that's how the album finishes. And it's a really like clear, lovely, slightly melancholy note to end on. And I just think it's a great, great song.
Wonderful. Okay, similar to our Shiny situation, I have a key to get to, but something that came out the day, like just a little bit before. Or wait, no, I messed up my date orders, so I can do key first.
Great.
So my key choice off the same Good and Great album is Live Without You.
I gotta run away. 지겨웠던 우리 멈춘 너와 날 위해 그 이별을 견딘 I can say goodbye. Gotta go be a body.
So this is another absolutely killer bass line. So good. And I just love how many words he fits into like every stanza of this song. There's a lot of just like really quick talking, and he just like, I don't know, he's just like eating all those words up, and it's so good. The pre-chorus is such a vibe. I love it. And I also really love the echo in the chorus of like the people going, oh, hey.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
It's
really
just
fun.
adds a lot to it. And yeah, I loved this whole album, but Live Without You was my favorite. There's another one I want to talk about, but I found an award category to put it in.
Nice.
That's how these work too. We got to do a little finagling to make sure everything gets talked about. So.
Yeah, have to like look at all of the category, like everything all at once, and then make your choices. Yes, I have another one off of this album that I'll also talk about. Probably the same one. But yeah, I also thought it was fun that this is like a it's like a nice like breakup song. Like there's something something to be said about this album that had like a I've moved on vibe. Like, I don't need you anymore. There was more than just this song that kind of had that feeling to it off of it. And that's fun. I like that kind of attitude.
Absolutely.
Do you want to do your next one? Or do you want to do the one you just skipped?
So how many? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left, and you have 4 left. So I could do one and then we'll be caught up. Okay, so next up, I would like to shout out from September off the Dawn Narcissus album, Seasons, featuring Gemini.
I'll be right there. 가진 시간 다 너와 끝까지 전부 다 기억하고 싶어. 알잖아 you're my four seasons. 'Cause all the time you make me so right.
So this is like the cheeriest sounding song on the saddest breakup album ever written, as I said last week, but the lyrics are still sad.
Sure.
It is still sad. It is still about like, but you are literally my 4 seasons. You're my whole world. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to live without you in my life. But it's gorgeous, and Gemini sings like so beautifully, and it's almost like a duet. Like they each get like a verse and they like do the chorus together. And it's gorgeous. And there's also a really good live performance music video of it with the two of them just like singing it in a little room. And Dawn has his arms out and they look just massive. And it's very distracting. But yeah, I loved this whole album so much. I know I said that last week, but this song has like a mood to it, and it's right in the middle. So it kind of like lifts you up for a second because it's, you know, been so terrible all the way up to that.
Yeah.
And it's not terrible. It's beautiful. It's so heartbreaking is what I mean. It's just so heartbreaking and full of pain. So yeah. But also a weird thing I noticed that when you try to find this song, the like 1960s group The Four Seasons has a song called Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
Dawn, go away back where you belong. And so when you try to find this song, that like overtakes the search results.
Oh, yeah. He does have his arms out.
He surely does.
Look at those.
His hair looks gross, but his arms look amazing.
Yeah, greasy. All right, my next choice. I felt like I had to put it on here because, as I said last week, I felt really bad about not liking this title track. It is the only title track in her entire discography that I do not enjoy. But I did like both of the B-sides off of this single, so I chose Sunmi's Calm Myself.
Calm myself, a cup of tea could give me good comfort. Calm myself, a couple of weeks could make me forget you.
So this was off of Stranger, which was a single, so it only had 3 tracks on it, because Sunmi doesn't really do albums or minis for that matter. But I really loved the like darkness of this song. It has a super gothic feeling to like the instruments of it. It's like very low, and then a lot of her vocals in it are in a much lower part part of her register than she usually sings. And so I really enjoy that part of it, like hearing this slightly different range than Sunmi usually sings in. And there's a lot of really great emotion in this song. Like in her vocals, there are certain parts where she's not really concerned about singing pretty. It's more about just almost like singing gritty on purpose, to kind of get that, like, because it's about like some parts that she has a lot, it's not fully in English, but it has a lot of English lines in it. And it's clearly about some, like, a relationship that isn't working, and she talks about how this person, like, being around you is killing me, and like kind of trying to, like, it's almost like she's rationalizing with herself the whole time, or like kind of debating with herself, because at the beginning of the song, she's like, no, I don't want to do this with you anymore. And then kind of in the middle, she's like, ugh, if it happens, it happens, like, fine. And it's almost, there's like this sort of, like an inescapability of that toxic relationship that she's talking about. And so I just think it's a really great, like, story song. And I think that the whole, all three of them do tell good stories. But this one was my favorite off of that little single. And I needed to have Sunmi on here somewhere.
Yeah.
Because she's my favorite female solo artist. And I was like, I can't abandon her.
I get it.
So I needed to find a place for Sunmi somewhere, and this is where I chose to put her.
Fantastic. All right, my next choice is from October, and this is IVE with Either Way.
Either way, I'm good. 전부 좋다고. 누가 맞고 틀릴게.
So this was off of IVE's album IVE Mine, and it was one of 2 pre-releases. I did not enjoy the title track on this album at all.
Is this Baddie?
Yeah. And that's not an unpopular opinion. People did not really like it. But I thought that both of the pre-release singles were so good. And I was honestly going back and forth between this and Off the Record, which is the other one. But Off the Record is also a pretty perfect disco song. And since I already had Die For You on it, I was like, okay, I need to pick a different vibe, round this playlist out a little bit.
Fair.
So this song just has such lovely vocals, and it's like haunting and sad, but there is like some hope tinged in it of them saying like, either way, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
there is just something nice about it. And I don't know, it's like very Gen Z in like the aesthetic of the video, and also just something about the song like feels very much like this super modern 5th gen whatever version of K-pop. But I really enjoyed it, and I think that it's lovely. So
I agree. I really liked that song too. I feel like the pre-releases got me excited for a comeback that ultimately disappointed me. And I was like, maybe I wouldn't have been as disappointed in this if I hadn't been so into the pre-releases. Maybe I still would have, because it's a very big departure from what IVE usually does. But either way, I'm good. All right, my next choice is from Taemin, and I choose Night Away.
감히 가만히 kiss you 나를 바라보는 너의 두 눈에 비친 일렁이 눈빛 그 안에 우리 밤을 잊어버려도 돼.
So this was off of Taemin's latest album, Guilty. It is a mini, I believe. 'Cause
His
it only
fourth?
has- fourth mini album, Guilty. Another great release from Taemin. I mean, I'm a huge Taemin fan. I love all of his solo releases. And his solo discography has a very distinct style and sound to it that is different from SHINee's, and different from like his role within SHINee. I think it's very much Taemin on his own, and like there's definitely SHINee elements to it, because I think each one of them like shiny is them
The
all
color
together.
of all of them, yes.
Yeah, their individual color is what comes together and makes shiny. So then when they're on their own, like they still have that shininess to them. But Taemin is like a very unique artist, and it was difficult to choose a B-side off of this album because I love pretty much everything he's ever done. But I ultimately chose this one because I kept coming back to it. Like it was this, I do really like this entire album, and could have just looped it. But this one is so pretty, and there's something in the like the beat of it where it really moves. Like it's a slow song, but it has kind of a quickness to the like I don't know how to describe, because I don't know what the instrument is that is behind it, but that little like do 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 do, like the beat of it is, it keeps moving, and then over it he sings like really slowly and beautifully, and it kind of just has like a sort of like babbling brook vibe to it, and I think it's beautiful. I really kept coming back to this song. I think it's lovely.
I originally had this on my list because the song that I'll talk about next was like, that's my Taemin B-side pick. But then when I was listening to the album through, Night Away was just like striking me so hard that I was like, oh, maybe it's this one. But then when I went to go pull a clip, I felt like I couldn't pull a clip because the song just flows through itself so much that it doesn't feel like there's like a chorus or like a hook of a like, this is the part. It's like the song just keeps like meandering through itself like all the way to the end.
Yes, and I thought that when I pulled the clip, or for whatever, I kind of just dropped it because I just like pulled and dropped it because I was like, what even is the chorus in this? Like, I'm not even really sure. Cause like you said, it just like flows and sort of meanders. But in that sense, there's no bad clip to pull from it because it's all lovely.
So moving on to my Taemin pick, I went with the song that struck me the hardest the first time I listened to the album, because that just seemed like a good dart to throw in these trying to pick situations. So I went with She Loves Me, She Loves Me Not. So I love this one. It has like very simple instrumentation to it, which is just like nice and refreshing. And it's like a song that Taemin is singing in his like, mostly in his like low, growly, almost whispery voice. And I love the juxtaposition of him just like, she loves me, while there's like a whole bunch of people like screaming it in the background. Like I like the way that overlays, and it feels really like poetic in the sense of the song, where like it's like Taemin is kind of in this like melancholy acceptance of like, oh, she loves me or she doesn't, but then this voice or this chorus in the back of his head is like screaming about it because, hey, what should I do? Like I just like the way that it all fits together. And I think I said last week that this feels like a song that I could picture SHINee doing. And it's probably because of that choral aspect of it that I'm like, oh, they could all do this together.
Yeah, absolutely. I did really like this one as well. And it is one that like kind of sticks out from the album, I feel like, in a way that I don't know why, like what it is about it that has like a slightly different vibe from the rest of it. But yeah, it's a good one. No bad choices off of Taemin. Okay, my next one is from an album we gushed about last week, and my choice is BBG Overflow. I really liked this song. As we discussed last week, this whole release is great. The album is called Verses, and the title track was Maniac. And I did enjoy every track off of this album. But ultimately I picked this one because I think that the chorus is so gentle and pretty, and that little like overflow, that little like pretty, it's so pretty. I love it. And there's just like, it's a very like kind of low key, like simple song. It doesn't like build or get really grandiose in any way. But it's just lovely. It's really lovely.
I'm super glad that you picked a BBG song because I really wanted to, but like the album is really new. It came out like 3 weeks ago, or maybe I don't have it written
like
down, but like
so maybe
it feels new, and I liked all of 5 of the songs so much that I felt like I couldn't pick one. Like I hadn't spent enough time with the album to be like, this one for sure.
That's
because
fair.
like I feel equally strongly about all of them and that they're all so good. But something about this song, it like, I think I cut the clip off before it got to it, but even though you said the song doesn't really like get like really grand, there is that part right after the chorus where it gets kind of like weird electronic and they go like dun, 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 ba, dun.
yeah. Totally. It does get kind of strange. It goes through like it has like movements that it goes through, and it does have kind of it's very dreamlike. And so I liked it. I thought it was very unique.
Great.
And there was like a good several weeks where I listened to nothing but this album, so I felt very familiar with it.
Good.
I
Good,
was
good,
making
good.
my choices.
Fantastic. All right, my next choice is from Red Velvet's Chill Kill album that came out in November, and I went with Underwater.
True, I can't wait, babe. What you gonna be? What you gonna be, babe? You should show me. 너는 꼭 잠겨 내게 깊이 끝까지, babe.
So, my initial favorite song off of this album, the first time I listened to it, was Wings, which is deep into the album, and it's like a much more girlier, funner, and I thought that it reminds me of like SES, like it felt like classic SM girl group.
And that was the one that when I first listened to the album, I was like, Shannon's gonna like this one.
And I do. But the more I listened to the album, the stronger I felt about this song. And my first note is just vocals in all caps, which is a given with Red Velvet. But
Absolutely.
yes. But like the vibe of this song, the growling, the vocal fry, the sighing, and the literal moaning in this song, like this is a fuck jam.
It's such a
in
fuck
all
jam.
caps.
Such a fuck jam. Like you listen to it and like the only acceptable move is a body roll.
But yeah, it's great. And I did check the lyrics just to make sure it wasn't one of those weird K-pop times. No, this is absolutely a fuck jam song. This is not absolutely. And there is like, it's especially noticeable after Wendy sings "So Just Lay Your Body on Me."
Yeah.
But there is bed squeak percussion, but they don't use multiples of it. They just use one of the squeaks.
So it doesn't have the like come back. So like
it just does.
It just does like
Yes.
Ooh, what are we doing that we're just getting that kind of squeak? I don't know about that.
Oh dear, Red Velvet. Oh dear.
Ooh, they're grown now. I was like giggling to myself as we were listening to the clip because Joy looks so murderous in the album cover in a way that like the other girls don't. Like the other girls are like doing their little doll faces, but Joy is right in the middle and she is like, I am going to kill you. Like in a slow, vicious way. Like she's very scary in this album cover. But we're going to see it again because my last choice, is also from this album. I chose Iced Coffee. This was pretty immediately my favorite song off of the album. And that there, although I do like the album as a whole, and there are other like top contenders for favorites, I kept coming back to this one. There's something about the like sort of swinging instrument like melody of it that makes
the time signature is I don't think is it a waltz? I think it's a different time signature. I'm bad at music stuff, but it's a very specific like 1950s slow dance time signature.
Yeah, and there's a real like back and forth feeling to it. And it makes me think almost of like nursery rhymes or like playground like songs,
music
like,
box
music box. It's very, very music box like tinkling. And I thought that the concept of the song was kind of interesting. When it was like, you got me like iced coffee, I was like, what does that mean? And then they say like up all night, like I don't need the sugar, I don't need the caffeine, but like you are stuck in my head and I can't turn it off. And so it's like the way you make me feel is the way a large iced coffee makes me feel. And I think that's kind of like I think it's a kind of funny analogy and like metaphor. Like I do think lyrically it's sort of silly, but I think it's gorgeous. Like it's like their vocals are really beautiful in it, of course, as they always are. And they kind of go back and forth. Like the verses are sort of low, and then the chorus is nice and light. And I saw actually that the girl who wrote this is not, I think she looked younger than both of us. She looked like she was in her 20s. And apparently, like she's on TikTok, she's a songwriter, and she has sent Red Velvet many songs. Like she has composed multiple songs for Red Velvet and has like just been desperate to like get them to do one of hers, and they finally picked this one.
Oh, nice.
So that was really cool. I think she's from the States. I could be wrong about that. But it was just very neat to see that like, oh, this is just like a sort of independent songwriter who's literally making songs in her house and then sending them to SM, and they picked this one. And I think this song is great. It's totally a Red Velvet song. Like she really understood their vibes. And I'm really glad they picked it because I think it's gorgeous.
Great. I love it. Okay, that brings me to my final pick of the year.
Woo!
And this is my repeat. I have another boys song, and this time I'm going with Escape.
Sorry, I was just grooving.
I know. It's so great. When I listened to the album the first time, this song, like, it's the last track, but I was like, oh, wow, what a way to end it. So this is off of the Boys' second full album, Fantasy, with a PH.
Fantasy.
And similarly to the reasons I liked Savior, I feel like the Boys just do like watery so well. A lot of them have just like such like light, lovely voices that it just really lends itself to that kind of music. And this song is so familiar to me, but I don't know why. Like similarly to that feeling you were talking about earlier, like the first time I heard it, I like felt like I had heard it in my soul before, but I can't actually think of anything to compare it to. And there's so much going on production wise in the song, like 19 layers of crazy things happening at all times, and yet it still feels like so light and simple. And I just love the chorus melody so much. It just like gets under my skin in the best way. And I think it was a perfect last track on a really good Boys album. And this was the one I was saying last week. I said there's a song that like immediately shot up my list, and it was this one. I loved it on first listen.
Nice. We love those where it's just like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. It's got to go on there. That was Espa's Thirsty for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to put that one on. That's no need to think about it.
And it's nice when the choices are easy.
Yes, it is.
So there are our favorite B-sides of 2023.
We did it.
And as always, we'll put them all in a playlist on our Spotify if you want to check them out. And if you want to share your favorite B-sides, we have a whole playlist sharing channel in our Discord. So please do that, and we can all check out some great B-sides together. And yeah, we'll be right back with a random game. All right, we are back, and this week the random number generator gave us a second gen boy group called 100%.
Yes, with the numbers and the percent sign, no letters of any kind. This was a group that was managed by Top Media, and they were formed by Shinhwa member Andy. And so they debuted in 2012 with originally, I think, 7 members. Yes, they had 7 altogether. And they had a couple of different lineup changes throughout their career. They ultimately disbanded in 2021 when the members' contracts expired. So they were together for quite a long time, almost 10 years. And in that time, they released 6 EPs and many, many singles, as well as a few Japanese releases in 2017 and 2018. But sadly for 100%, one of their members, Minwoo, died in March 2018 of cardiac arrest. He was only 33 and they found him at home. And the group did continue releasing music and promoting for shortly after his death, but they eventually disbanded, like I said, when their contracts expired in 2021.
Yeah, they seem to be a group. I know I'd heard of them, that they had moderate success in Korea in their early days, and they did a lot of Japanese stuff, but all of the members of 100% went on the unit. So we know that the unit was not a good, it wasn't a good sign if people went on the unit. You only did that if you were trying to revive things.
Absolutely.
But we are going to watch their most popular music video, which is still their debut from 2012. It is called Bad Boy, and it currently has 3.7 million views on YouTube. So if you would like to watch it with us, you can go ahead and pull it up and press play when I say go.
Wait, before we say go, I
please,
just
go
looked
ahead.
at the description and it says, oh, okay. Well, first of all, the guy who did the music video also did G-Dragon's Butterfly, Taeyong's I'll Be There, and To Anyone Slow. Fun fact. But it says the title song Bad Boy is a dance song that is made up of analog sensitivity with the sad sound from string instruments. The lyric is about a man who is forced to break up with her girlfriend. The strong beat and the power vocal add on to the song, and with the touching ad lib at the climax increases the addictiveness of the song. All right, so we'll have to keep an ear out for the touching ad lib at the climax.
I also, sorry, one more thing. As I'm scrolling their Wikipedia, I feel like they came up in our every single Neurotic episode because they did a show called Teen Top Rising 100%, where them and Teen Top had to do challenges or something. And I think they performed Neurotic at what looked like Disney World, but we couldn't confirm if it was Disney World or not.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And they killed it, but people they didn't have a huge crowd because nobody knew what was happening. Yeah. Even though they did a good job. All right.
Okay. Bad Boy. Pull it up and press play when I say go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh, lasers. Okay, they
laser
just appeared.
2012.
Yeah. Little laser. Okay, we've got a couple different sets. One is in black and white and the rest is in sepia tone. One is outside in a desert and the rest is in a box. It's very apocalyptic feeling.
And they look so 2012. I
Oh,
love being
yeah.
able to see the eras so clearly now, but like they all have the swoopy bang haircuts.
Yeah.
Or the high
little
top
roosters.
Converse. Yeah.
This leather with the studs everywhere, little fingerless gloves.
The tightest pants.
Yeah. Chains. Okay, when we get the black and white shots inside the box, sometimes we just get silhouettes of them dancing. And then they're just like running through the wasteland.
힘들 걸 다 알아 참아보며 살아 그래 그렇게 행복하게
I like these strings.
The sad strings. Yeah.
Get up, get up. Oh, take the sunglasses off dramatically. Are they gonna fight?
Maybe. One of those boys, and he looks kind of like Chris Wu.
He does.
He has a Wu-ish feature to his face.
This long turtleneck tunic thing is
Yeah.
so like this time period.
This era,
Everybody
I
looked the
know.
same.
Everybody looks
love
the
it.
same. And the like, new set. Now we have white
Geometric
outfits.
box. Yes. Oh, those
Those
boots.
shoes, those are wild. And the like super long hooded but sleeveless like overcoat
Yes.
things.
Oh,
that
that
studded
had
hat! So many studs on it. Use them as a battering ram.
소용없어 그따위 사랑 더 이상은 안해 너랑 나랑 밀고 당기기 지겨워 주고받기 너보다 더 멋진 여자 화끈한 사랑 찾아가 어차피 오늘도 끝나
Those are probably the touching ad-libs at the climax.
Oh, they're on the ground now.
우리가 왜 자꾸만 이별을 쫓아가는 건지 너를 생각하는지
They are fighting. Just one push though.
힘들 걸 다 알아
Oh, I think these are the touching ad libs that are happening in the background here.
That part of the choreo is really
It's a
dumb.
very stupid choreo. They just like have their like hand over their mouth and they're like wiggling elbows down like a bunch of times.
Get out, get out, get out. And it's certainly not intimidating if they're trying to like usher you out the door. All right, 100%. Bad boy.
There you go.
Gonna be a bad boy.
Yeah, see, that title just gets other
you
things
can't,
in my
you
head.
can't use that title anymore. Okay, Rain, Rain took it.
And then, I mean, the GD Taeyong one,
Yeah.
also
True.
pretty strong. But anyway, that was 100%. And then this is typically weekly recommendation time, but
We don't usually do
I mean,
recommendations for the end of the year
no,
ones because they're
because
like all recommendations.
we recommend
So-
everything we just played.
Yeah. So go find our Spotify playlist and listen to that. You're welcome.
You're welcome. And where you can find that Spotify playlist is on Linktree/AMA K-pop pod. Or is our Linktree just AMA K-pop? I always forget.
Let me double check that right now. Linktree/AMA K-pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. Well, that's where you can get to our Spotify, where we have playlists for this episode and many other episodes. You can also listen to the pod there. I know lots of people already do. You might be doing that right now. You can find us on Instagram at AMA K-pop pod. We have an X/Twitter, but don't use it
True.
because that website is a trash fire that nobody wants to use anymore. But also on that link tree, you can join our Discord, which I spoke about earlier. We have so many channels for so many things, and you can talk to lots of fun people. You can also send us emails to amakpoppod@gmail.com. You can send us texts or leave us voicemails at 181-AMAKPOP5. You can send us mail if you want to send us Christmas presents or whatever at P.O. Box 26096, Los Angeles, California 90026. You can also join our Patreon that we mentioned several times in the episode at patreon.com/AMAKPopPod. We have bonus episodes, video episodes, audio episodes. There's a special tier you can join where you get to like vote on things and participate in episodes. I just had our season fans vote on which of the 2023 boy group debuts they wanted me to watch, because we don't pay attention to boy groups around here. So I said,
Not the new
y'all
ones.
pick and I'll watch 5 of them. So
Nice.
I did. And that video is up right now. And yeah, there's lots of fun stuff on there all the time. And if you join it, you can watch everything that's ever been on there.
Yeah,
and you
get
can quit at
access
any
to the
time.
whole archive. Yeah, so check it out. Patreon.com/AMAKPopPod.
And yeah, that's all the places to find us. And we will be back next week with our AMAK awards. And we will try to find things to award all of our favorite things. And then after that, it's best songs of the year.
Shit.
Always a rough thing, but we'll get it done.
We'll do it. I'm sure I can find. Oh, can I find? Did I listen to 15 title tracks of which I have a strong enough opinion? We'll find out.
We'll find out if this is a year where we have to go back
Oh shit!
to 10.
We usually do 20 titles. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
No, I think we do 15. I think we like force 15 and then we each get
some runner-ups.
runner-up.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see what shakes out.
We'll see what happens. If we have to go back to 10, we have to go back to 10. But I think
I
we
feel
might
like
surprise
we can
ourselves.
probably do it. I feel like we can probably do it.
But thank you so much for listening to this. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.